Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Brett. The video today from AJ Rants and Reactions. Modern women are dying from BBLs. I think a lot of guys saw this coming. Please extra read them below. I really appreciate that. Ask you that. Ciao. It's Chow Time.
Welcome back. It's the cosmetic surgery that not only comes with a hefty price tag, but a high mortality rate. The risk is so high, a task force was formed and a global warning was issued. ABC4's Saray Chen has the warning about the Brazilian butt lift, and we want to warn you, some of the video in the story is graphic.
We don't know how the Brazilian butt lift got its name. Perhaps surgeons say it's because Brazilian women are known for their voluptuous backside.
That makes sense.
Whatever the case, the elective surgery has risen in popularity, and so has the death rate.
Look at that.
It's the back.
Guys, it's so bad. I've seen a lot of even Asian women with BBLs. It's crazy that it's transcending all cultures. Everybody wants big voluptuous asses that are kind of outrageous at the same time.
Side some people desire. Celebrities creating the high demand. For some, lifting your rear end can be the beginning of your nightmare.
It's affected my life a lot. To the point sometimes I feel like I want to commit suicide.
This patient from Florida was at rock bottom after trying to improve her bum.
I can't believe that I actually risked my life.
We learn of the increased mortality, increased risk and complications of fat injection to the buttocks.
Yep.
Dr. Renato Salt.
And guys, they're gonna, of course, always try and blame men, but guys, chicks get BBLs to compete with other chicks.
Yep.
Because all chicks want attention. And all the girls are all hanging out, just chilling, and then one day some chick walks in with a BBL, and they all get jealous and say, "Ellie, I'm gonna kill you, you fucking whore!"
It's funny because when the chick walks in with a BBLs, yeah, all men might be looking at her, but they're not all like admiring her. They might be just looking at her because she looks outrageous.
So then they all go get BBLs.
Board-certified plastic surgeon in Utah and the president of the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery helped form the global task force that brought the urgent warning about the downside to the butt lift surgery. The high mortality rate is roughly 1 in 3,000.
1 in
Which makes
3,000.
fat injection
That's actually pretty high for a surgical procedure.
to the buttocks the highest mortality in any aesthetic procedure.
When fat is injected in large volumes, in large areas, and too deep, it can travel to the lungs and heart.
And causing immediate death.
Dr. Salt says fat should never be placed in the muscle, which is easy to do. This woman, who we'll call Jane, did her homework. She interviewed 3 doctors before deciding on Dr. Salt, who will be performing a mommy makeover with a butt lift at Park City Hospital.
We're doing liposuction to her back and her flank areas. We're injecting some of that fat, a small amount of that fat, on her buttocks to accentuate the contouring.
You have to, as a patient, think about what you're doing and make good choices because it's not a game.
In between surgeries, Dr. Saltz is busy educating other plastic surgeons. He traveled to Porto Alegre,
And making tons of money, too.
Yeah.
You know, this guy is big ballin'.
Brazil last month. We talked with him via Skype. He says he feels it's his responsibility to spread the message and help develop guidelines for safe practices.
Fat injection to the buttocks, if not done properly, can kill. And as a matter of fact, has killed many patients all over the world.
Dr. Salt says you must go to a board-certified plastic surgeon. Chaitanya, a patient from Rock Springs.
Chaitanya. What kind of name is that?
Wyoming, got a fat transfer procedure and says she spent time deciding on her doctor.
If they feel like, you know, it's less expensive or something, people take that route. Those are the people I think are paying a price.
Oh, she's an Indian chick and got this. Chaitanya Kenachamaga.
Paying the price is what this Florida woman went through when she agreed to improve her derriere at a cheaper price. According to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, there's been an uptick in butt lifts. Dr. Salt says Utah ranks top 5 in plastic surgery overall.
What is your message to fellow plastic surgeons and other people there attending the conference?
We're coming down to some very important guidelines to prevent this horrible tragedies. If we can save one life, it's already a great thing.
Dr. Salt says to get to the bottom of the high death rate, they had to research, study cadavers, and simulate these surgeries to find out how fat was migrating through the blood vessels. In the newsroom, Saray Chin, ABC4 News.
Now, guys, let's go back. Look at this chick.
Some of the video in
Yo, this chick's a little bit older, but she can get it, man.
A pair of titties make you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk.
Now, guys, let's go and look at a couple examples of these chicks dying from BBLs.
Heather Meadows traveled from her home in West Virginia to South Florida to get a better body.
At least she did it in the United States. I would have assumed a lot of the women that are passing away are doing it in, foreign countries where no board certification. You don't even know what exactly they're injecting into you or if they're actually taking your kidneys or not.
Just given birth to her second child, and her best friend says she wanted to feel good about herself.
This was solely something that she wanted to do for herself, to make herself feel better.
We talked to her longtime friend Susanna Wilson through FaceTime. She was the last to talk to Meadows minutes before her surgery. What did she say to you?
She was scared. This was her first surgery ever in life. And she asked me to pray for her, and she told me that she loved me. And those were her last words, I love you.
Meadows' autopsy.
Isn't it crazy, guys, that even Susie Q from West Virginia got caught up in this foolishness?
She showed she died of what's called a fat embolism after undergoing a Brazilian butt lift procedure. That's where a piece of fat gets into a vein, travels to the lungs, and causes a patient to stop breathing.
Damn.
The NBC6 investigators found it's what's killed at least 8 mothers in our area in the past 5 years.
Wow.
Different doctors and clinics.
I want this to stop. We want to save the...
Shut up, women. If you guys want it to stop, then stop doing it. Stop pushing each other to do it. I know many women that work in nursing field, that they work in a camp for migrants and stuff. Every girl that goes in there literally tells all the other girls, oh, look, I just got this done. Look how I look. You should get it all done too. And then they will all go together and get plastic surgery together. That's just how much women are in each other's heads. It's not us men. I would rather you have a small ass than have a chance of you dying to try to get a bigger one.
The next woman's life.
The Department of Health filed a medical malpractice complaint against James McAdoo, the doctor who performed the surgery, claiming he failed to perform a complete physical exam, did not slowly and carefully inject fat into her body, and hit a deep vein in her backside. Plus, Heather had given birth 2 months before the procedure. The Department of Health says.
Now, guys, here's the thing. The reason why a lot of these doctors are cutting corners is because, guys, they have a line out the door. And the faster that they can get these chicks in and out, the more money they make.
True.
And she just given birth, so how?
I was a little bit confused at that part too, when she just gave birth not too long ago and going through a major surgery. Yeah, your body probably isn't ready for that.
How was that a smart plan?
As patients are supposed to wait at least 3 months.
Look at that.
Why has it took so long? I mean, for somebody to take action, for Florida Health Department to take action. Why?
The clinic where it happened, Encore Plastic Surgery, has since shut down, but the doctor's still practicing. His attorney sent us a statement saying, due to issues of patient privacy, he cannot comment publicly on the allegations. He does not agree with them and fully intends to contest these issues through the appropriate administrative process.
But he's still practicing medicine, guys. And women are risking their lives for this.
I want justice.
It's been 2 years since Heather's death, and Susanna knows those who loved her will have to wait.
Even though she's not here anymore, she's still my best friend, and I have her back until the very end.
Look at that, guys. Look at that. All because of some surgery, guys. Clown world.
She was perfect this morning. She was happy. How could she be dead?
Look at that.
This feeling that they have about this is how I felt about my mother. My mother was perfectly fine. She was in the hospital recovering. All of her vitals were doing well. She was recovering well. And all of a sudden, one day, that night that she passed, there were some complications. And all of a sudden, she passed. It was so devastating to think that your mother or your loved one is going to fully recover. And all of a sudden, some freaky shit happens. I don't even know what the fuck happened to where she's no longer with you. Who's to blame for this? Who do we go after? Like, is it because complications with my mother? Was it complications with the nurses, the doctors, the things they were doing to her, medicines they were giving her? We don't have a clue sometimes. This is why people that are electing for cosmetic surgery or major surgeries like this blows my mind. I've been under the knife quite a few times myself. I don't choose it. It was done to me because it had to save my life. I'm not choosing to go under the knife because every time you go under the knife, there's a chance you may not wake back up.
Only on 6, a mother with a warning tonight for women who are thinking about having plastic surgery. She says her daughter died for beauty and she doesn't want other families to experience the same pain.
The Miami mother's sharing her story tonight with NBC6 investigator Dan Crowth, who has spent years uncovering complications with one popular procedure.
There's not 1 minute that goes by that I don't think about her.
She went from planning her daughter's birthday one week to planning her funeral the next.
Damn.
She was not just my daughter, she was my best friend.
Yolani Vetez's daughter, Danae, was beautiful.
She was beautiful inside and out.
But after giving birth to her third child, she wasn't happy with her body.
After her third baby.
That's her? Yo, she had 3 kids? Look at that.
After her third baby, she gained a lot of weight and she just couldn't lose it.
She decided to go for a Brazilian butt lift procedure. That's where a doctor performs liposuction to remove fat from unwanted places and uses instruments like this to inject that fat into a patient's backside.
That was the last picture she sent me before she went in.
On May 10th, her daughter texted her right before surgery. She says she got the emergency phone call 2 hours later.
See, this is the part I don't even know if we can really blame the doctors or blame things, because this is elective surgery, right? There's always that risk. And when the risk happens, do we blame the doctor? Yes and no, I want to say. Like the doctor, yes, should have done their due diligence. I do agree upon that. But sometimes even if you do your due diligence, shit happens.
Remember is falling to the floor. That's the last thing that I remember. I remember I had no strength in my body.
Her daughter died of a fat embolism.
Damn.
That's where a piece of fat gets into a patient's bloodstream and causes them to stop breathing.
I was like, oh my God, my daughter died like that.
Guys, I saw a case where it was in the DR, because guys, a lot of these chicks go to like the DR, or the UK chicks go to Turkey, right? And what happens is like, yo, one girl, when they were going around to get the fat, they were stabbing her. They punctured her liver and her kidneys with that wand thing. Crazy.
The NBC6 investigators found she's one of more than a dozen women who died after undergoing the same.
A dozen? Look at that. Damn.
Procedure in South Florida. Different doctors and clinics.
She's in the picture of.
And these are ones that are doing it in Florida. 2, board certified doctors and surgeons and stuff. I can't imagine the ones that are going to Mexico, freaking Brazil, or wherever these other countries are.
A dozen or more. This is happening to many, many girls.
A family friend started this.
Again, I always think it's funny because it's a dozen women and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. We need to stop this right away. When men have been dying over many of different issues, no one even gave a fuck.
Online petition calling for change to help prevent more deaths.
Think about it. If another girl goes through it and passes away, they're not the ones that are going to suffer. the family members are the ones that are going to stay suffering.
Our investigations over the past 4 years help lead to a new law that goes into effect next year, allowing the state to immediately suspend a doctor's license in the case of serious injury or death.
That should. How is that not a thing now? What the fuck?
And the Florida Medical Board voted last month to prohibit doctors from inserting fat into a patient's muscle, a way to prevent deaths. Doctors have even issued new recommendations on how the surgery should be performed. But all of these changes going into effect after her daughter's death.
I love you, Dania. I love you, baby girl. Mommy will always be here for you, Mommy.
Now, guys, we're going to look at the effect that new law has had, because, guys, spoiler alert, it hasn't done anything at all.
Our reporting led to a worldwide study that showed a patient is up to 20 times more likely to die from a Brazilian butt lift than any other cosmetic procedure.
20 times? That's crazy,
20
guys.
times more likely to perish from a BBL. Clown
A warning tonight from a woman who was paralyzed after cosmetic surgery.
She ended up in a wheelchair, and now she's not only taking on the doctor who performed that surgery, but also the center and the post-operation hotel they put her in. Rebecca Lopez reports.
Rolanda Hutton will never walk again.
It's very traumatic. It's like you never think about not being able to walk.
She ended up in a wheelchair after she had a Brazilian butt lift at the Dallas Plastic Surgery Institute.
When I first woke up, they were asking me to move, and I couldn't feel my legs.
We first told you her story back in November 2017. Then she sued the doctor who performed the surgery. But now she and her lawyer have amended the lawsuit to include other doctors who perform surgeries at the Institute and the Cloister, which is a post-operation hotel run by the same doctors who do the surgeries. They send patients there for recovery.
Patients are being sent to this so-called hotel, which is really a skilled.
Look at this greasy hairdo this guy has. This is the kind of lawyer you want, you know?
Nursing facility that's not licensed, not regulated by the state.
Hutton says she spent 2 days at the Cloister and says the staff there should have sent her to a hospital the moment she told them she could not feel her legs.
After the second day, I was like, something's wrong. I need to go to the hospital because I still can't move my legs, and it's been 2 days.
Her lawyer says Hutton isn't the only one who suffered severe consequences. He claims in 2009, a woman died after a facelift while at the Cloister.
This place needs to be regulated or shut down, or you're going to see more people that have been hurt.
Both in 2017 and today, we asked the Dallas Plastic Surgery Institute and its lawyers for comment. They did not respond. As for Hutton, she wants her story to serve as a warning to others of what can happen.
That's the thing. Even though it's a story and it should serve as a warning to others, women don't care. They really don't. Because they just want to look beautiful. They want what they want. They don't care about the consequences until it actually hits them in the ass.
Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
Guys, she should have just walked her way into a gym, done some squats, right?
Should have
done some. Instead of a BBL, do some RDLs, right? Some Romanian deadlifts, man. You know, clown work. Now, one of the previous clips we saw that places like Florida passed a law and some various measures to reduce the amount of deaths, right? And one of the ways that these laws do this is punish the doctors. Now, guys, let's look and see how these doctors get punished, all right?
Tonight, the Florida Board of Medicine voted to discipline a Tampa cosmetic surgeon today in connection with the patient's death from a Brazilian butt lift. I-Team investigator Adam Walser attended the hearing and has details about how this case was resolved.
A woman died during a Brazilian butt lift procedure performed by Dr. Joseph Castellano at his clinic here in Tampa. That happened back in 2020. He has since settled a medical malpractice lawsuit, and today he appeared at a disciplinary hearing before the Florida Board of Medicine.
Dr. Castellano.
In a matter of seconds, without any testimony, the Florida Board of Medicine approved a settlement with Dr. Castellano.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Barsoom. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
35-year-old Audrey Torres went to Dr. Castellano's clinic in February 2020 for a Brazilian butt lift.
Look at that.
Her oxygen level dropped and Torres was taken to the hospital where she died. An autopsy revealed she died of fat emboli, which is when particles of fat enter the bloodstream and block circulation.
Look at that, guys. In those previous clips, how many times have we seen fat embolisms, right?
According to the report, Dr. Castellano injected fat into Torres's muscle in violation of health department rules.
Any comment today? How are you feeling?
You guys want to say anything? It's over. That's it. Castellano was sued by the Torres estate.
And he's going to keep
According
practicing,
to state
guys.
records, the lawsuit was settled for $250,000.
That's it? I'm not saying that you want to take this man for everything, but like a person's life is gone, but you only get $250,000 after all this turmoil and back and forth.
That's
it.
Which will go to support her son, who was 23 months old at the time of Torres's death. As part of his settlement with the Board of Medicine, Dr. Castellano will receive a letter of concern, pay a $10,000 fine and investigative cost, complete 5 hours of continuing education, and will be permanently restricted from doing Brazilian butt lifts.
Look at that, guys. Look at that. That's it. That's the punishment right there. This guy deleted this woman. His actions resulted in her no longer being on this planet. And all he has to do is pay a $10,000 fine.
Again, it's just so hard to deal with when you're going to elective surgery that has its own complications list already. Like, I do agree this man fucked up, but that's the whole point of elective surgery, right? You never know if they're gonna fuck up or if something happens.
Pay the $250,000, 5 hours of continuing medical education, and not do BBLs. But guys, he can do Botox, nose jobs, right? All that other stuff. Absolute clown world.
You've agreed to not do Brazilian butt lifts anymore. Or do you wish you'd never done this procedure?
We don't have any comments for that.
We requested an on-camera interview with Dr. Castellano before his hearing, but he declined, saying his attorney advised against it. He said in this email, "I cannot comment to the patient's extenuating circumstances, but I do deny all liability in this case." Anything to say to the family? The I-Team is investigating a rise in Brazilian butt lift deaths here in Florida in recent years and what the state is doing to protect consumers. Our in-depth report airs later this month. In Tampa.
I mean, what can the state really do if these women just want to get it done all the time, even though the risks are there? They're going to other countries that are probably worse, probably doing crazier shit. The procedures aren't as, well established as here in the U.S., and they're still dying. It's not just the surgery that needs to get kind of revamped, but it's also the idea of what surgery is.
I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser taking action for you.
Look at that, guys. Now, guys, let's see what overall good these laws are actually doing. Now, spoiler alert, guys, these laws aren't doing much good at all. Let's go.
This year, more than 60,000 people nationwide will get a cosmetic surgery procedure called a Brazilian butt lift, made popular.
60,000 women a year get Brazilian butt lifts, huh? That actually doesn't sound like that much.
By celebrities and social media influencers.
They're often called BBLs and actually have the highest death rate among any plastic surgery procedures.
This comes as a Tampa cosmetic surgeon was disciplined this month by the Florida Board of Medicine because his patient died following a Brazilian butt lift procedure.
And tonight, I-Team investigator Adam Walser digs into what experts say causes these deaths and talks to a cosmetic surgeon about what can be done to lessen the danger.
Now, guys, I did the math, right? They said 60,000 women will get BBLs, right? And 1 in 3,000 die. Guys, that's 20 women a year, at least, are going to die from BBLs. Clown world.
That's a significant number.
Any comment today? How are you feeling?
You guys want to say anything? It's over. That's it. Dr. Joseph Castellano walked out of the Florida Board of Medicine meeting after a disciplinary hearing regarding the death of a patient under his care. He settled his case, agreeing never to do another Brazilian butt lift procedure. 35-year-old Audrey Torres, a single mother who lived with her 23-month-old son in Waimama.
Oh, single mother. It makes sense why she wanted the butt lift, to try to get a man still. I'm not trying to blame her or anything, but this is society now. Women become single mothers and they still want to be sought after. They still want to get that top tier man. So what are they going to do? Elect for surgery to try to get that look. Even though fertility matters, ladies. You're doing this surgery for pretty much nothing anyways. It doesn't change your circumstance between men.
Of course, she's a single mom, right, guys? Of course.
Me and AJ are
Died
in the
after
same
she
boat
went to
with
the
this one.
Castellano Cosmetic Surgery Center in February 2020 to get a Brazilian butt lift. Neither her family nor their lawyers can discuss the case because her estate sued Dr. Castellano and agreed to a confidentiality agreement as part of a $250,000 malpractice settlement.
All they got was 250 grand. They need to get a better lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
Money that will go to support her son. Anything to say to the family? You might recognize Castellano from his billboards, dotting high-traffic roads across Tampa Bay for years, advertising his results as just beautiful. Dr. Castellano advertised Brazilian butt lifts, or BBLs, on his website.
This patient here, we're liposuctioning her abdomen, love handles, back, inner.
See, just that constantly going in and out of people's butts like that. It's just, it hurts my butt seeing that. Like, outer
thighs, and then we're transferring it all to her butt.
That procedure was performed in 2016. Torres's BBL surgery took place on the morning of Thursday, February 20th, 2020 at Castellano's clinic on MacDill Avenue. According to a health department complaint, complications developed during Torres's surgery, and she was taken to the hospital where she died. An autopsy revealed she died of fat emboli, which is when particles of fat enter the bloodstream and block circulation.
Wow.
As part of his settlement with the Board of Medicine, Dr. Castellano will receive a letter of concern, pay a $10,000 fine, and investigative costs. Complete 5 hours of continuing education. Do Brazilian butt lifts anymore? Or do you wish you'd never done this procedure?
We don't have any comments for that.
Castellano declined an on-camera interview, but said in an email, "I cannot comment in this case."
With the BBL, the main risk that has caused death has been the pulmonary fat embolism.
Dr. Thomas Su is a cosmetic surgeon who owns the Artistic Lipo Cosmetic Surgery Center in Tampa and specializes in liposuction. He's not involved in Dr. Castellano's case, but he has been closely following the reports about an uptick in BBL deaths in Florida. These are preventable deaths in your mind, it sounds
Yes, I think it's very preventable if you inject fat.
It's very preventable because these knuckleheaded broads shouldn't be getting these in the first place.
Agreed.
Clown world.
Into the butt muscle, the gluteal muscle, there are large veins there that if the fat were to get into it, goes right to the heart and lungs and can kill you very quickly.
That's what the state believed happened to Torres, citing evidence Castellano injected fat into her muscle in violation of a health department rule passed a year earlier. That rule came after multiple surgical associations issued a warning in 2018.
There it is.
BBLs had a mortality rate of 1 in 3,000, greater than any other cosmetic surgery. But a recent study showed that after the Florida Department of Health rule went into effect, neither procedures nor deaths declined.
Look at that. I told you guys.
Useless.
All this stuff, all these rules or whatever, and the deaths didn't decline.
The number of BBLs per year has been increasing very rapidly.
Is Florida the BBL capital of the United States?
I would say absolutely it is.
The epicenter is South Florida, where you can find dozens of clinics, many located in strip malls, offering plastic surgery procedures at discounted rates.
Why would you go to a strip mall for guys? I don't even go to a dentist's office that's in a strip mall.
A report from the Aesthetic Surgery Journal published this year said 25 women have died from complications related to BBLs in South Florida since 2010. 92% of those deaths occurred.
See, it's 25 and we're making such a big deal about it. I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but how many men commit suicide every day? Come on, right? I'm just saying, it doesn't seem to equate the outrage.
In low-budget, high-volume clinics.
These large clinics, which are high volume, oftentimes require their physicians, their surgeons, to perform 10 to 12 BBLs in a day.
Many to 12 BBLs a day. Imagine how much money that they're making too.
Patients come from out of town.
It's sitting there, what, like 10, 20,000, 30,000 a pop? Each of the surgeons are doing 12? Woo! That's a lot of money every day.
Lured by online marketing and low prices. We found BBLs in Miami advertised online for less than $3,000. Dr. Sue says that's a fraction of the cost of the procedure at a traditional cosmetic surgery center.
Don't budget shop your surgery.
Don't
you do
clip
get what you pay
coupons,
for,
guys.
and that just invites a lot of risk if you're doing that.
I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser with photojournalist Randy Wright and Matt McGlashan taking action for you.
Now, guys, this problem's going to keep getting worse. And guys, they can make all the reports that they want. And they actually think that these 304s give a damn? Nope. Guys, we all
AJ, me and you, we're like brothers.
know that you could tell these knuckleheads the dangers of everything, right? Guys, the dangers of being overweight. The dangers of banging Nug and Pookie, right? And they just look you straight in the face and call you crazy, right?
Just like a woman.
You know what I mean? Guys, don't feel bad for them.
Whew, that was some fatty chow. You know what's so funny? That back in the day, women just wanted to be skinny. Skinny was the thing. Now, they want to be skinny, but with a big ass. So they get fat, pull fat from everywhere else, and then shove it into their ass, and they're dying from it. Ladies, men have been saying just stay natural. We like it. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.